study the torque speed characteristics of DC shunt motor. Connecting panel here, and for this experiment we need one MC voltmeter and MC ammeter. So we have to decide the range. So how we will decide the range of this voltmeter? So here we are giving 220 volt supply of DC. Okay. So to measure the 220 volt supply, we are using 300 volts MC voltmeter. Okay. And the motor rated current is 12 amperes. Motor rated current is 12 amperes. To measure that 12 amperes, so we won't apply 12 amperes, we'll apply 80% or 70% of that. So to measure that, we are taking a 10 ampere ammeter of MC. We'll see how to make the connections. So we have here connecting board or connecting panel, and we have the machine arranged. Okay. So here we have two fuses of the supply and DPST switch. DPST stands for double pole single through switch. Now we can see a 3-point starter here, so which is helping to start the DC motor. So what is the purpose of this 3-point starter? So which controls the starting current of the motor. Or to limit the starting current of the motor, we are using a 3-point starter, which is helping to start the motor or to limit the starting current. So this leads to the safe turning off or safe turning on the motor. So if this 3-point starter is not there, then what will happen? Starting current will rise its maximum value. Then it runs with high speed. Then it leads to the damage of the motor. Okay. So to limit the starting current, we are using 3-point starter. Clear? Why we are calling it as 3-point starter? Because it is holding 3 terminals. LAZ, line, armature and field are 3 terminals of this 3-point starter. Okay, supply is being connected to the motor through this 3-point starter. Okay. Now here we can see supply positive and negative terminal. So what is the supply we are giving to the motor? 220 volts DC supply. So first we need to connect a voltmeter. So which measures the voltage, how much we are giving to the motor. That is measured in this voltmeter. So which voltmeter we are using? MC, moving coil type voltmeter we are using to measure the supply voltage. Okay. So first what we will do, we will take a wire and connect it to the positive of the supply. And from there we are connecting it to the positive of the voltmeter. So positive of supply to the positive of the voltmeter. Clear? Next, from negative of the supply, we are connecting it to the range terminal. That is, here we can see negative is directly, it is there on scale of 300. So therefore we can connect to the negative of the supply to the negative of the voltmeter. Clear? So now the voltmeter is connected. Now we can see in series we have ammeter. Voltmeter is connected in parallel to the supply, and in series we have ammeter. So how to make this ammeter connections? So here from the supply positive, it is connected to the ammeter positive. So here from the supply positive, so make these 2 wire together or join these 2 wire together, and that is from the supply positive to the ammeter positive. You can see here ammeter positive terminal, MC ammeter positive terminal. So we are connecting to the positive of the ammeter. Okay. Now from the range terminal, you know how to choose this range, 2.5 or 5 or 10. So we will connect it to the 10. Why? Because the motor rated current is 12 amperes. So we are applying up to a maximum of 10 amperes load on the motor. So therefore we will connect it to the 10 amperes. To measure the 10, we require 10 amperes ammeter. If we connect it to these other values, we cannot measure. Okay. So now we can see here from the 10 amperes of the ammeter, we are connecting it to the L terminal of 3-point starter. So we are connecting the supply to the line of the 3-point starter. Okay, line terminal of the 3-point starter. Terminal. You can see here A terminal of the 3-point starter to the armature of the motor. So now this connection I am making from where to where? From A terminal, that is armature terminal of the 3-point starter, to the armature of the motor. So from A to A. 3-point starter. You can see here Z terminal of 3-point starter. So from here to, we are connecting to the fixed end of the rheostat. We have inserted a rheostat in series with the field to control the field flux or to control the current going to the field winding. We have inserted a rheostat which is rating of 350 ohms by 1.7 amperes. Okay. So now from the field terminal of the 3-point starter, that is Z terminal of the 3-point starter, we are connecting it to the fixed end of the rheostat. So here you can see the fixed end of the rheostat. So rheostat is having two terminals, that is one is fixed terminal and other one is variable terminal. So first, to which terminal we have to connect? From the field of the 3-point starter to the fixed terminal of the rheostat. Okay. Now from the variable terminal, you can see here arrow mark, this is variable terminal. So this variable terminal is going to where? Z of the field winding. Okay, starting terminal, that is Z of the field winding. So from here to here. So now here I am connecting the variable terminal of the rheostat. Variable terminal of the rheostat to the Z of the field winding. Okay, now that means we have inserted rheostat in series with the field winding. Okay, to control the current going to the field winding. Okay, so now you can see in the negative terminal what are all connected? ZZ of the field winding, AA of the armature winding, and voltmeter negative. These three are connected where? In the negative of the supply. These three are connected with the negative of the supply. So you can see here ZZ of the field winding, AA of the armature winding, and voltmeter negative terminal. It is already connected. Now what else is remaining? AA and ZZ to be connected in the negative of the supply. So to make that, here ZZ, that is field winding other end, and connect another wire to the AA. Now these two wires has to be connected in the negative of the supply. These two wires has to be connected with the negative of the supply. So now as you can see here, there are total 3 wires connected in the negative of the supply. So first is voltmeter negative and AA, that is armature terminal other end, and winding, that is field winding other end, that is ZZ. Okay, so now with this the connections are over. Before we turning on, we should know the precautions also. So this rheostat, initially it should be kept at minimum position. Initially it should be kept at minimum position, so that the motor will start with the minimum speed. Motor will start with the minimum speed. Our intention is to start the motor with a minimum speed, not with the high speed. So there is a relation. If we keep this in minimum position, the field current will be maximum, the flux will be maximum, so that the speed will be minimum. Okay. So initially the speed of the motor will be minimum. By keeping the rheostat in minimum position, the field rheostat in minimum position, we can limit the speed during the starting. We can keep the minimum speed of the motor. Suppose if you want to increase the speed, then we can vary this and we can increase the speed. Clear? Initially it should be in minimum position. And motor should be under no load condition. You can see the belt connected to the motor should be free. If it is not free, we can rotate these 2 pulleys. We have here 2 pulleys and we can rotate them in anti-clockwise direction to make the belt free. Okay. Suppose if we rotate, suppose when we are applying the load, we have to rotate in clockwise direction to tight this belt. That means to apply the brake, or that means to apply the load on this rotating brake drum. So this rotating part is called as brake drum. Okay, and it rotates along with the shaft of the motor. As the rotor is rotating, the shaft will also rotate, and this brake drum will also rotate. But initially, before turning on the motor, we should make sure that belt on the pulley should be free. Belt on the pulley should be free. Okay. So now after making these two precautions, or after recorrecting these two precautions, then what else we need to take care? We need to take care about the connections, whether they are tight, proper, and correct according to the circuit or not. We made the connections proper and tight according to the circuit. Once again, we need to check. So, turning process I will explain here. First, we need to turn on the DPST switch. After turning on this DPST switch, we can see whether the supply available is there or not. Indication will give that supply is available or not. DC supply is available or not. Okay, this is the indicator. Now, by slowly operating this 3-point starter. How to operate this 3-point starter? Slowly, not with high speed or not with very less speed. Or we have to operate it moderately. Okay, we have to operate it. We have to push this lever. This is called lever of the 3-point starter. We have to push this lever and we have to bring it to the end of this pulse. So therefore, the coil will get magnetized and it will hold up the lever. During the running condition of the motor, the lever will be at this position. But whenever we are turning off, we should not bring it off back. It will come automatically. Why? Because the coil will get demagnetized and the spring suspension will be there on this lever. The lever will automatically come back. Okay? So now here, I will show how to turn on the motor. You can see here. Now the motor is turned on. Okay. We'll check the speed. The speed, how much it is? 1412. So we have to bring it to the rated speed of the motor. What is rated speed? 1500 rpm. So how to get the rated speed? By operating the rheostat. Okay. So operate the rheostat. We get the rated speed. Running 1500 rpm. So that is the rated speed of the motor. Okay. So now it is running at rated speed. Now we can apply the load. But initially we need to note down the no load reading. Okay. So take a note of no load reading. Now this is the no load reading. How much is the no load reading? Can you see the spring balances? How much they are indicating? 0 and 0. As we have not applied any load, as the belt on the pulley is free, now the spring balances shows 0 and 0. Now what about the speed? 1500 rpm. Now we can see the voltage and current from the voltmeter and ammeter. After noting down the no load readings, now we need to apply the load. And before we apply the load, what we need to do? We need to apply water into the brake drum as a coolant. Now as we are running this machine for certain time period, then what will happen? Heat will be generated in the machine. So that may lead to the damage of the belt or damage to the motor. So anything may cause. So that's why we are adding water into the brake drum. Okay. So add the water into the brake drum by taking that mark. Apply. Like this we have to apply the water into the brake drum. Okay. So now it's enough. Okay. Now you can see by rotating these pulleys. There are two pulleys. Operate any one of this, it's enough. So you can see how I'm rotating clockwise, right? So by applying by rotating the pulley in clockwise, the belt will be tightened. That means load will be added on the motor. Okay. So if we apply the load, then what will happen to the current? Current will increase. And what about the speed? Speed will decreases. Current will increases. Speed will decreases. And what about these two shows? These two spring balancers show some reading. Okay, then later we will calculate with these readings. Okay, torque we are going to calculate by applying the formula 9.81 into S1 minus S2 into R, small r, that is radius of the brake drum. Now can you apply the load? Now what is the current you can see here? How to apply the load? By rotating the pulley in clockwise direction. By steps of current each 1 ampere. Okay, each step of 1 ampere. So how do you know that it is each step of 1 ampere? By looking into the ammeter, right? So you have to look into the ammeter and you have to apply the load by rotating pulley in clockwise direction. Apply the next load. Amperes. For 2 amperes, what is S1, S2 readings?
S1 is 0.9 and S2 is 1.2.
1.2. Now, make a note of it and measure the speed. Okay. Next. Can you apply the next load? So first tell me how to apply the load. By rotating the pulley in clockwise direction. Okay? By looking into the ammeter. Very good. Do it. Now how much current you got? 3 amperes. Okay? Reduce. Now the load is 3 amperes on the motor. Okay, 3 amperes current the motor is drawing now. Okay? So now what about your S1, S2? How much it is? What is S1? Whichever is more is S1. S1 is 2.5 and S2 is 0.9. And measure the speed. $14.80. Now, can you apply the next load? This one is 3. S2 is 0.9. What about the speed? 1464. Next. So everyone has to know the process. Therefore, everyone has to apply the load. Okay. So at each and every instant of load, what are we are making load? S1, S2 and T. Okay. Now we have to apply up to the rated current. Like each step as 1 ampere, we have to apply up to the rated current. Now the final reading, that is 9 amperes. Okay, apply up to 9 amperes. Now it is 8, right? So apply up to 9 amperes. Now make Take a note of final reading. So S1 is 8 and S2 is 1. What about speed? 1420. How to turn on the machine? Our experiment is over. Up to the rated current, we have taken the S1 S2 readings by applying the load, and we have also note down that how much speed it is running in. Okay. Now, how to turn on the machine? Okay, we should not turn off the machine at the same instant. We should bring the machine to the normal condition again. Okay, we have to remove the load and we have to get the speed to the minimum speed. Suddenly we cannot turn off the motor. If we turn off like that, the motor will damage. So, now what we need to do? We need to remove the load. After removing the load, so how do we come to know? You can see here the minimum current will be there again. In the ammeter we can see the minimum current will be there. Okay. So now, how to keep the rheostat? Minimum position. Take the rheostat minimum position. Now we can see again the motor came to the minimum speed. Okay. Again the motor came to the initial condition, that is to the minimum speed. You have to just turn off the intensity switch. Make it turn off. Like that, the lever will come automatically back. After the current flow is disconnected, the coil will get demagnetized and the spring suspension will pull the lever back. Make the calculations. Whatever the S1 S2 readings we have taken, calculate the torque. What is the formula for that? 9.81 into radius of the brake. 15 centimeters is the radius of the brake. But we need in meters. So divide it by 100 to get or to convert the centimeters into meters. Divide it by 100. That is 15 by 100. 0.15 meters. It will be constant at all the times. And then with that value calculate the torque at every instant and plot the curve between torque and speed. By taking torque on x-axis and speed on y-axis, plot the curve and observe the nature of this machine, how the machine is performing.